Hi, my name's Lizzie from Plymouth Sling Library. I just thrown a video together for you in regards to wearing a newborn safely in a sling or a carrier. With what I've got here, quite limited. Obviously, most of our stock is in our centre, but what we've got here at home, I've tried to put together for you just to show you how to safely wear. I hope it's useful and happy baby wearing. I thought I'd start off with a few safety guidelines first before I get into the actual slings themselves. We follow what's called the TIC Safe Baby Wearing Guidelines. There's 5 rules to follow. If you follow those 5 rules, your baby will be safe. The first one is tight. So baby needs to be nice and tight into you. A very loose carrier would be dangerous. Baby might slump. Baby could suffocate in the loose fabric. So keep everything nice and tight. If you lean forward, baby shouldn't really move. That's how tight you want them. You want them in view at all times, so you want to be able to see their face. You don't want them smooshed over under the fabric or even in your clothes, like smooshed into your clothes. You want to be able to see them at all times. We say, you probably hear us say this a lot, or in that sort of area, is close enough to kiss. So essentially you want to be able to just touch the top of their head with your mouth to be able to kiss them on the top of their head. If they are too high, let's be honest, that's slightly uncomfortable. And if they're too low, it becomes slightly dangerous. It just means that the sling probably is not tight enough. And then that brings us back to the previous issue of slumping or suffocation. So you want to be able to kiss the top of their head. That's how high they should be. You want to be able to keep their chin off their chest. Again, so no slumping. Same as in a car seat. If they start doing this too much, you run the risk of asphyxiation with their throat, so it stops them being able to breathe. So having them tight again keeps their spine nice and straight, which ultimately will make sure that their chin stays off of their chest. You also want them to have a supported back. So in any carrier we want, when we say a nice straight spine, we want it nice and straight here. We don't want any slumping this way. We also try and look for what we call the J shape. With their spine, we don't want them, if I can just demonstrate, we don't want them sort of like straight out here, and we don't want them overly scrunched up, too curled up themselves, their whole spine. Obviously she doesn't curl very well, but a real baby would. We want ultimately the J shape, so nice and straight here, and then a nice bum just tucked in and under, and that will just support them in their natural position, which then again helps them to breathe safely. As you can see, I already have my baby in a sling. This is the close caboo. This one has a minimum weight limit of £5. It is essentially a stretchy carrier that is already pre-tied and stitched. So it comes in 2 parts. The outer part, the top part, is usually the bag, and that is this sort of what we call like the safety layer. Don't be tempted to use it without. If you do, you run the risk of the sling opening. But yeah, so this follows our guidelines, and it supports baby nice and ergonomically, which in turn supports you ergonomically. So nice knee to knee, straight spine, nice and close. So that's the close caboo. That is often, people prefer it sometimes to the stretchy because you don't tie it. It has rings that you adjust. If you can see, it's already got the cross already pre-tied on the back, unlike the stretchy that you tie yourself. This one, the babies tend to outgrow it slightly quicker than a stretchy wrap. Only just, it's not outweighed. You'd be hard pushed to outweigh a carrier before they outgrow it. They just slightly become too tall for it because the panel isn't quite as wide as on a stretchy wrap. This one is what we call our stretchy wrap. This one in particular is a boba stretchy wrap. It's a carrier from newborn. It has no minimum weight limit, so it can literally be used from newborn. Although if you do have a premature baby or a baby with issues at birth, please contact us before you use them, just so we can help guide you through some safety guidelines. It's a lovely carrier. It's one long stretchy piece of fabric. Everyone gets very daunted by it, but I promise you, once you've done it half a dozen times, it becomes so natural. And it's so lovely. It's one that you can actually leave on yourself pretty much all day and just take baby in and out. There is no maximum time limit in any ergonomic carrier. So any of the carriers that we stock at the library, that we have to loan at the library, there is no maximum time limit. taking baby out for feeding, changing, playing is all that is needed. So please don't worry, there's no time limits like a car seat, because they're just being held in their natural position in their lovely little J shape they have here. There is absolutely no time limit. It's a lovely one, as I say, just because you can take baby in and out quite easily. So you can pop them in the morning, in and out, drive to Tesco with it on you, take baby out of the car seat, pop baby in, so you don't need to faff with it once you're in a car park in the rain. So yeah, on to the next one. Next one is a woven wrap. It's very similar to the stretchy wrap, but it is not at all stretchy. They come in lots of different lengths and sizes depending on how tall you are and how big your little one is. They go from newborn, there is no minimum weight limit on most of them, and they go straight up right through to, well, weight limit, probably carry a small adult. So until you can't carry little one anymore, they will hold them. You can do front carries, hip carries, back carries. They are the most versatile of carrier once you've mastered using them. So they all, so many different ties, different ways to tie them up, different ways to sit them. We always recommend with a newborn, and even for bigger babies, a first time wrap user is to use what we call a front wrap cross carry. It's essentially the same carry that the stretchy wrap did, just sort of flip reverse, so the cross is on the outside and the panel that goes across is underneath. They can be a little bit trickier to master, but once you do master them, they're such a versatile carrier. And some of them are really funky and stylish as well, so always a bonus. Now on to buckle carriers. There are so many different types of buckle carriers out there, but you are quite limited on what is available for a newborn. This is the Tula Free to Grow. It's adjustable from £7. Again, the weight is a guideline, it's a safety guideline. Obviously don't go below or above the minimum maximum weights, but just because your baby is £7 does not mean that they will automatically fit into this carrier. Where carriers are concerned, particularly buckles, it's the length and the height of baby. You could have a really long £7-pounder, or you'd have the dinkiest £7-pounder ever created. So it's not to say that they will fit. You can have 9-10 pound baby that still wouldn't fit purely because they were too small. So hence the library obviously being a good option to try them out before you buy them. So again, you're more than welcome to message us if you have any questions about certain carriers. Some come up wider than others, some come longer or shorter than others. They're all just slightly different, bit like buying a pair of jeans. So this one, as I say, is free to grow, Tula Free to Grow. It's an adjustable carrier, so the panel adjusts. This is the panel, so the panel adjusts height-wise and width-wise. This little one is on the smallest setting. The panel adjusts in the waistband, so it pulls out, because we want them nice and supported knee to knee. We don't want it too wide. You will overextend baby's legs and hips and pelvis, which is not the best for optimal development. So we pop them on the smaller one. So the fabric just sort of tucks in nicely behind their knees. We want their head nice and clear. The panel no higher than their ears. So nice and safe. This one is a fully adjustable carrier. Some of them will forward face, this one doesn't. Some forward face, some hip carry, some back carry. They'll all have different things that they can and can't do. So you just have to find what might suit you. People often pick a buckle carrier when they're using them in between sort of more than one of you. They think it might be slightly easier to use that. It's not always the case, because you have to adjust everything sort of on the buckles on you. Some people prefer a buckle, some it's too bulky and they don't like a buckle carrier. And some buckles are not as bulky as the Tula as well. Tula's quite a padded one. There are so many out there, I couldn't even go through them all with you, but they just all have different characteristics. But an adjustable buckled carrier tends to go from around birth. So without that, if you buy a standard buckle carrier, they usually don't fit without a newborn insert of some description or adjusting of some description, whatever that carrier could do. Potentially they probably won't fit until sort of about the 5-6 month mark, sometimes bigger. A standard Tula, not the adjustable, tends to be more sort of the 7 month mark because they're quite a big carrier, whereas others might go from about 4 or 5 months because they're slightly on the smaller side. So it's just a case of playing with it all and seeing what might best fit you and your little one. And last but by no means least in the selection of carriers that I here have to hand, that really are quite nice for newborns. We have a ring sling. These again come in all different fabrics. This is a woven ring sling. In particular, this is a Tula woven ring sling. It has a minimum weight limit of £8, but it's a really good versatile carrier. As you can see, I can carry newborns on the front, nice and tight and in close again, just like all the other carriers. They've got a lovely J-shaped spine there. It's also really versatile, so you can hip carry with them, and actually when they're older you can essentially back carry with it. It's just a nice one to have. A lot of people use these when they have older children. They just want something to chuck in the bottom of a pram or in the bottom of a bag or in the car. It's a good up sort of quick one. It sometimes takes a bit of getting used to, purely because it's one shoulder, but if you build up from when they're newborn, you shouldn't have a problem. So yeah, that's ultimately all the carriers that we have that would spring to mind ultimately for a newborn. As long as you follow the tick safety guidelines, there's lots online about it. There are also lots of good YouTube videos out there. If anybody wants any information, drop us a message at Plymouth Sling Library, either Facebook or info@plymouthslinglibrary.co.uk, and we will endeavour to get back to you and answer your questions. If you look on our page, we have a couple of demo videos, particularly a newborn in a stretchy wrap demo video and one for breastfeeding in a stretchy wrap with a newborn. I'm trying to get through some more videos, trying to get some more information out there, whilst I can't give it to you face to face. So hopefully head on over to us, give us a like on our Facebook, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on. We are doing doorstep hires at the moment, so if you wanted to hire something from us, drop us a message, and if we have it, more than welcome to come and collect it from us, or we will drop it out to you. Happy baby wearing!